Yo, what's up guys? You got Pokey. I'm here with a video about Sharpedo. In this video, I'll be giving my thoughts on Sharpedo, whether it should be banned or not from RU, or not necessarily whether it should be banned or not from RU, but what I just think about it since it is being suspect tested. I do have my boy Flaming Victini here with me today. He can say hi.
Hey guys.
He's a very avid RU player. He is also part of the RU Council, if I'm not mistaken, as well
Yeah.
as the fact that he's just solid, and he built all my teams for RU Open besides the ones that 49 built. So I trust him when it
Yeah.
comes to RU. I definitely trust him when it
I
comes to RU.
I managed in the most recent RUPL and I won the Oras RU Tour last year.
Yeah, so he definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to RU, and he also uploads. So if you guys want to check him out, his link will be down below. But Sharpedo, what are your general thoughts on it? Just
I
as a whole.
mean, I feel like the test really isn't about Sharpedo, but more so Sharpedo plus spikes. Because Sharpedo, the only thing it really excels at is cleaning teams.
Correct.
And to do that, like everything needs to be weakened, even if it's just a little bit. And every good team should have a solid Sharpedo check, like Porygon 2, maybe even Snorlax. Even Cresselia with Moonblast can check every Sharpedo, except for maybe Darkinium. So like, there are a lot of bulky Pokemon in this tier. Umbreon too, like even Diancie can live a hit from full. So like, there are a lot of bulky Pokemon in this tier, and they all need to be weakened for Sharpedo to clean. And what Sharpedo excels at is like a team of like 5 weakened Pokemon, and you have spikes up, and all of a sudden they're all in range of Sharpedo's attacks, and it just sweeps right through.
Correct. So a lot of the reasoning why people say it's broken is mainly because it makes offense pretty much not viable, and
Yeah, well,
that reason would be mainly because obviously offense is frail, but there are variations of offense that definitely can check Sharpedo. For example, you throw a Mega Abomasnow on the squad and you check Sharpedo, and you wear it down. But obviously, again, for those saying that Pokemon like stall teams, for example, just shut it down completely, Sharpedo is not a wall breaker. It's a cleaner, as he mentioned. It's a Pokemon that comes in, takes advantage of its speed boost, and then breaks through a weakened team. We have the physical set right here and the special set. Physical set doesn't have to run Aqua Jet. It can run Protect. There can be variations of it, but Psychic Fang, Crunch, Waterfall. Like in the example of Spikes, you can run Kommo to check Sharpedo, but if Kommo is at 70%, because of Spikes or Stealth Rock or switching on Waterfall, it goes down to an Adamant Psychic Fangs after that. Chestnut to a KO
yeah.
by Psychic Fangs after Spikes. Fizz Def Chestnut. And then there is a special set, which is Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Protect, or it can also run Dark EMZ. I personally prefer Life Orb just for the additional power on every single one of my attacks, but
Yeah, I mean, Sharpedo really likes the Life Orb because it doesn't really need the health. It really offers very little defensive value to teams outside of maybe like Aqua Jet checking Salazzle and maybe its
correct.
general speed boost checking like Sun. But otherwise, it doesn't really have much defensive value. So there is that opportunity cost to that. Also, you were talking about Sharpedo versus HO, and I actually wanted to bring up your game versus Ajna,
Okay.
where Ajna like led with Sharpedo and knocked out your Omastar after you got up rocks. But then you had Furzion 1 to check the special Sharpedo,
Correct.
and you also had like a lot of priority users, and you
Exactly.
actually bluffed the Verzion went to Zoroark, and then just like did a lot of damage to his team, and
Yeah, got rid of Durant. Yep,
he wasn't
recovered.
able to get Sharpedo back in to do damage because you had the momentum all the way from there.
Exactly.
And plus, also, Sharpedo is good on offense itself, like that Team 49 gave you with Abomasnow and Sharpedo. Like, there itself, Sharpedo is making offense better because it's a good cleaner for offense.
Exactly. Allowing my team to break through Pokemon like Chestnut and whatnot, helping check Salazzle, making Abomasnow's job plus the Blaze job easier. And even then, the team
Hmm.
did have checks. Not only did I have priority in Ice Shard and Shadow Sneak, and you might be saying, well, that's not very effective. Well, Sharpedo has piss poor defenses. Like, both of those attacks are doing like roughly 30%, which is
Yeah.
not hard to wear down Sharpedo with Hail, the fact that it takes its own Life Orb and whatnot. But also, the team did have Debray, which takes a hit from physical and knocks it out with Sacred Sword.
Hmm.
Abomasnow, which takes any hit and knocks it out with Blizzard into Ice
Yeah.
Shard or Wood Hammer. Cresselia, which takes one hit and knocks it out with Moonblast. Of course, I think part of the issue with Shark is figuring out what set it is. If you're a slower team, I want to say, because versus a faster team, Shark will come out and more than likely protect, right, to get the speed boost.
Hmm.
But versus a
Yeah.
slower team, a Shark can come out and your Chestnut is your best switch in, right? And they throw off an Ice Beam right there. Like Chestnut becomes not a switch into it. So I think that's one of the issues with Shark. But again,
Yeah,
I do agree
I
that
think
offense
that,
does have
yeah.
checks.
I think that more so requires like careful building. I feel like slower, more bulkier teams have more room to fit really like generally fat Pokemon like Umbreon and Porygon 2, which
Correct.
can just switch into any set and then scout what it is. And even Porygon 2 can trace the speed
Yeah,
boost and
actually
become
making
really
it such
annoying.
a giant threat. Like
Yeah.
a fast Porygon is so annoying. Straight up, I agree. Um,
Yeah, so like I feel like actually it can go both ways. Although I definitely agree that if you don't know the Sharpedo set, it can become really tricky. Back when Mantine was around, if Sharpedo revealed to be special, but it was actually mixed with Crunch, you could be in real trouble if you switched in Mantine thinking you'd be fine and got 2 KO'd by Crunch after rocks or something like that. So definitely like Sharpedo is definitely a very versatile Pokemon. So you have to really be careful when you play against it. You can't handle it lightly.
I agree, but I don't think in that sense it still makes it broken. Like
Yeah,
this
definitely.
this is one like there's a few Pokemon in RU like I don't think that because this mon is here we should check other mons, but I do want to bring up Zoroark for example. I think
Hmm.
Zoroark is crazy in general, at least on Showdown, not on
Yeah.
the DS because it would show you. But yeah, he did mention, and I'll actually show some builds that we have here of the offensive team. For example, team Shark is so good as at being a cleaner that it even can find itself on balanced teams. Like right here, I have the Shark Zygarde team that I used.
Yeah, the Shark Zygarde team. And the interesting thing I want to note about this team is that like it has the very solid P2 check to Shark, but otherwise every other thing except for Xatu still checks Shark to some extent. Like
Correct.
Diancie can live a hit from full, Zygarde can E-speed, Shark can possibly live a hit depending on the set.
Pick off a weekend one with Aqua Jet as well.
Yeah, yeah, and Roserade,
The
if
Scarf.
it's healthy, it can live, and or if the shark's like if the shark's special and it's healthy, it can live an Ice Beam. But the other thing is like, let's say a Spike gets laid up versus the Shark team versus this team, and Porygon 2 gets weakened, you immediately get put into a position where a Shark can potentially clean through the entire team, and so that's what really makes it so dangerous.
I agree.
And I think that's why I think the suspect is more about hazard control. And we've seen like the rise of mons like Xatu, which is on this team, and you and I have been like experimenting with Espeon as well to prevent hazards.
Yeah.
I feel like spikers like Roserade, Chestnut, and even lesser used ones like Glalie and Frostlass to an extent on hard HO are really going to become really important members on a lot of RU teams. And people are starting to use more like Scarf, Defog, Flygon just for emergency hazard check. And I think that's part of why people are focusing so much on Sharpedo because it feeds off of these spike-centric teams.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Because again, Sharpedo itself, it's not a wall breaker, but it's a cleaner
Yeah.
that appreciates like all the mons being weakened. And spikes are definitely that difference for Sharpedo actually being able to get kills. And that's just a good point, especially with the rise of Reggie. Reggie being everywhere, Chestnut being everywhere.
Oh yeah,
right?
Registeel too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being everywhere. That's why That's why we were experimenting with Zatu because it beats those. It denies spikes, and we could also get our own spikes, allowing Sharpedo to clean. And like, don't get me wrong, guys. Sharpedo is an annoying Pokemon to switch into. It's
Yeah,
especially when
it's
you know
real
the set.
good.
It's amazing. It's
I'd say it's one of the best mons in the tier,
Easily,
but
easily.
I still don't think it's broken.
no,
Like there are ways to handle it. I feel like it's just like a matter of like handling like building a team conscious of all the threats in the tier, and Sharpedo is something you just have to take into account.
yeah, I agree. It's like similarly to. I don't want to compare to that Landers is coming in OU if you play an OU game, right? Like you always
Yeah.
know Landers is coming, right? So I feel like when you are playing RU, you do have to keep in mind this threat because this is a threat that works on every type of team except for a hard stall.
Stall.
And even then, hard stall is kind of not. There's no hard stall that right now that's actually like defined in RU after all the meta changes,
Yeah,
right?
Stall is really, really tough right now, and I think that might also be another reason why Shark seems especially good right now.
Exactly.
Is the reason Stall is so hard right now is because of hazard control. So
And the introduction of Nidoqueen back into the tier
Yeah,
that broke
Nidoqueen as
Gligar.
well.
Like Gligar usage went completely down. Whereas before Nidoqueen
yeah, I
came
haven't
out,
seen any Glygars.
exactly, Gligar was everywhere. It was literally on every team. Gligar Chestnut was a core. And then again, offense does have answers to it. An offense for Feraligatr, Durant, if it's special or physical. If it's physical, can't kill Durant. But again, with the spikes up and whatnot, same thing in Feraligatr's case. But Feraligatr can KO with Waterfall with like a good roll after a life orb hit or
Yeah.
two. But again, like on the topic of Heartstall, obviously you're missing out on your Umbreon, even Comfey on one of Shake's older versions of it.
Yeah, Comfy. Toxicroak can check special variants without Psychic Fangs.
Exactly, exactly. And then again, Como is like, I feel like it's you just. It really does have to do with spikes, and I agree completely with you. And you really do have to be conscious of that team building. And Tini as a team builder himself, like we talk about things like potentially putting, again, I mentioned Como earlier, but Como is a pretty good soft check to it, relatively bulky mon.
Yeah, Como is really fat.
Yeah,
Can
exactly,
check a lot of stuff.
exactly. Like I said, you need about 30% off on Como to KO with Psychic Fangs, and that's adamant Psychic Fangs, and even that. But I again, and even with the rise of Frostlass, or excuse me, with the rise of Xatu, you'll also see a lot of Frostlass, which is why also Xatu have tend to be, and I think it's better Xatu, especially in the Nidoqueen meta, more Spadef variant, so you can actually take hits
Yeah.
from Frostlass, from Nidoqueen and whatnot, and deny hazards, because that's really Sharpedo's just best friend. But
Yeah, I also forgot to mention Milotic, another Sharpedo check
yeah,
that
it's a great, it
beats
beats
a
all
lot
of
of other stuff.
yeah.
It's a really great one. So yeah, like there's plenty of Sharpedo answers, and it's more about how Sharpedo is just able to clean up entire teams when they get weakened.
Correct. Because again, I actually saw a comment on my Sharpedo Live. They're talking about why is this mon being suspect tested? There's all these Pokemon, Milotic, Chestnut for certain variants, all that stuff. And yes, those are all checks, and I agree with you completely. But I also agree with the replies to your comment saying as how those mons are easily worn down from typical Sharpedo builds.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to argue that oh Sharpedo has counters, therefore it's not broken. Like that would be arguing like in like XYOU that oh Mawile can be countered by Weezing and Arcanine, therefore not broken. Like we're not trying to make an argument like that. We're just saying like there are plentiful answers to Sharpedo, and even things that you think won't beat it will actually beat it because Sharpedo is just not that strong up front. But when everything just gets weakened down by hazards and like team members damage, then Sharpedo can very easily put itself in a position to sweep through entire teams, and that looks very impressive, and it can make a strong impression on people, especially in Snake Tour when we had games like Ajna versus Silent Verse and like the Sharpedo mirror match,
Yeah.
and Ajna hit a Hydro Pump after rocks on SV's Sharpedo, got the max roll to kill it, and then just swept through the rest of SV's team. I mean, SV's team was also quite weak to Sharpedo, but I feel like that sort of game can kind of really highlight how important it can kind of exaggerate how Sharpedo is placed in this meta. Also, the game where like Maru played Ajna, and the game ended up coming down to who could sweep the Sharpedo first because both of them lost their Porygon 2s.
Yeah.
And like both of the teams were solid for Sharpedo, but eventually it came down to strategy. It didn't become a win or a loss because Sharpedo was broken. It came down to like positioning and how they played the game.
Yeah, as like a typical game should. Unfortunately, some of these replays, I would love to show you guys the replays, but when the replays went down, not all of them are back now, so I can't. I would love to show you them, but yeah, it's all about. I think it all comes down to play as well, play and team building, and it's like if I'm saying if I weaken my opponent's check to this Dragon Dance for Alligator, right? Then yeah, obviously Dragon Dance for Alligator can win, but I feel like with a Pokemon like Sharpedo, it's just a little bit more consistent because it has that speed boost. So, and it's not a sweeper again. It's not like Gator where it's trying to sweep, but it's a cleaner. It's in its name. It's supposed to clean up or at least break through early on for something else. But in the most part, from what we've seen, because of spikes, because of Pokemon taking prior damage, Sharpedo has just been successful at cleaning up.
Yeah, Sharpedo is just really, really good at that job, but it still requires good play, a good supporting team, and like a solid strategy to pull it off every time. So it's not like a Mon where you see in team preview, oh, he has Sharpedo, so he must have an immediate advantage. It's not like that. Like Lando I, perhaps, compared in OU. Like, if you, like, sometimes broken Mons just give an inherent advantage to the one using it, but I feel like that's not the case with Sharpedo.
No, I agree. I wouldn't compare it to Terrakion and Black and White 1. Trispan Terrakion literally didn't matter how much skill you had at all. All you had to do was click close combat. You would get a kill. Click Stone Edge, get a kill. But I don't compare Sharpedo to that. And also, like, it does have counterplay on offense. For example, Protect Sharpedo after would be like a check to Salazzle. But if Salazzle already nasty plotted up, it kills with the Z move through Protect, right?
Yeah, the other thing is the Z moves to go through the Protect. Like, there are also like offensive ways to limit Sharpedo. Like, Scarper's faster than neutral nature Sharpedo can stop it from. It'll force a double Protect to if it wants to outspeed. If you have a Z move user, you can stop it. Like, How do you know how much +2 Z Shadow Ball from Asmodeus does to Sharpedo?
It probably into protect on protect.
Yeah, into protect.
We can calculate right now just to see.
Probably does a lot.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna say
I've
around
seen some
80%
people
or close to
I've
80.
seen some people use Twinkle Tackle as well, and that'll probably just straight out
That
KO
will kill.
Sharpedo.
That'll just straight up kill.
Yeah.
That would straight up kill.
So like,
So
yeah, Sharpedo is just not that perfect mon. Yeah.
especially when you see mixed Sharpedo as well, like running naive, like even then that makes it harder to
Yeah,
check.
to
So
lift
like
those hits.
so for example, +2 Never Ending Nightmare does 162 to 191 on a protect. It does.
So
Oh,
around
actually, does
like
not do
40,
it. Yeah,
40 to
about 50%. But even then,
Yeah,
that's in range
with
of
rocks and then life
yeah,
orb, it's gonna
rocks,
die
life orb.
pretty soon.
That's in range of a priority move on the team, or even taking more damage. Or like, for example, if you have your own Sharpedo with Aqua Jet, it does about 30 something percent to
Yeah.
Shark. But yeah, like offense does have answers for it. Z moves definitely made it. But speaking of Z moves, I actually do not like Z move Shark. Like I've seen it
Yeah,
rise in
I
popularity
don't.
in the RU Open, but it needs that life orb to pressure teams. I feel.
I really think so, because like that life orb is the reason why it's able to do enough damage. I feel like
Exactly, exactly.
the one time nuke is like convenient occasionally, but otherwise I feel like it's just not that useful.
Yeah, getting rid of like a
A
bulky
life
mon.
orb hydro pump is pretty strong, but when you take away that life orb, it becomes really really weak
Yeah, it's the
comparatively.
difference between a 3KO on Registeel and not 3KOing it. Just to give you that example. Not that you would go for 3 Hydro Pumps versus Registeel,
Yeah.
but like,
Or like maybe KOing opposing Shark after Rock Spike.
Correct,
Something
correct.
like that.
so like, all in all, I'm not denying that Shark is a good Pokemon, guys. Not at all. But offense does have checks. Now priority Z, the fact that Sharpedo needs severe damage, and yes, that might seem easier, but that also just comes down to how you play, how your opponent plays. If you know that you lose if your Virizion takes a hit, don't switch in your Virizion on another attack. I'll give you the example of my game versus Ajna again. How I had to lead Almastar. I can just go to the video, I'm pretty sure, and you guys can see it.
Yeah,
That,
probably.
that way I give you guys an idea. But I led Almastar versus the team. He led Shark because he knew that it initially just pressured my team, which is very, 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 very smart on him. And yo, what's up? Shut up, me. And what I ended up doing was, is this not the game? Okay, here it is. So what I ended up doing was, I knew that my way of winning this game, whether he was physical or special. First, I had to find out if he was physical or special, right? So no, it's okay. You can talk, bro. I have this game on mute. I have this thing on mute, so it's no big deal. Like I knew that he was either physical or special. I had to find that out turn 1, right? That was how I played around Shark. So he Dark Pulses turn 1. I find out he's Life Orb. If he's running Dark Pulse, that means he's not Mix. Mix runs Crunch over Dark Pulse. So I find out he's Life Orb, and I specifically made it when I have Zoroark. By the way, I specifically made it that my last Pokemon, even my Zoroark, will always look like Virizion for this example right here. Like I knew that team preview Shark could potentially sweep me if I don't play smart. So I had to weaken it with Life Orb, and then once I found out he was special, I knew that Virizion could take one hit, which is why I bluffed the Virizion, went into my Zoroark right here, exactly.
Yeah.
And then at
That
plus
play
2,
was so good.
I mean, we talked about how he had outs to it. Like he could have went out into Rhyperior and whatnot. But yeah, I knew he wouldn't risk this. Like in worst case, he'd protect. And this also worked out because Virizion also runs SD just alongside it. But like the way I had to play this game when I saw it at Team Preview was I had to either weaken Shark with Life Orb enough for plus 2 Aqua Jet from Bruxish or a Sucker Punch from Zoroark to take it out, or keep my Virizion healthy. And then as you see right here, I was able to use Shark to my advantage. The fact that, it would have to switch out, and I found out it was special. But like that's just an example of like how you have to play around Shark. I didn't let my Virizion take damage. I didn't switch hard into my check to it because it's a check, not a counter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just an example of like how offense does well versus that type of thing.
And also like Scarf Durant like forces it to double protect. He ended up
Exactly.
not even going for that.
Yeah,
Bruxish,
I don't know what
Aqua
I
Jet
thought.
plus Sucker Punch.
I thought he was like Aqua, like in anything. But like yeah, I had Sucker Punch plus Aqua Jet to knock it out, things like that.
Yeah, I think he was just assuming hustle and he was just going for a
For the
miss.
miss, which is fine. But I think protecting was fine too because you would double your odds. Like if you
Yeah,
protected,
you might as well do
yeah,
that.
you might as well go for it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, like all in all, it's a great Pokemon, and this is gonna be repeated. It's a great Pokemon, but I don't think Sharpedo
Definitely,
is. I don't think it's not busted. I think
Yeah, it's not the mon that strikes you as completely broken. I mean, I'm still like thinking about it, reconsidering my position on it, but like as of now, it still doesn't strike me as a broken mon.
it's definitely a mon that strikes fear when I see it in team preview, and I
Oh
know,
yeah,
okay,
definitely. Like you got to be careful around it.
yeah, exactly. Like you have to play your mons in a certain way not to take damage, which is sometimes hard, especially if your opponent is pressuring you with solid doubles, good plays, and things like that. But I think it still comes down to play. And yeah, while Speed Boost does give it its own opportunity to late game clean up, it's still up to you and how you play. And like if your team doesn't have any priority, if your team doesn't have a mon to take a hit, that just comes down to your team voting.
Yeah.
But do you have anything else to say about Shark?
Not really. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, so obviously we want to know your thoughts, guys. And again, at this point, I'm leaning towards no ban, but that's of course if I even get Rex. But currently, I'm leaning towards no ban. But I do want to know your thoughts on Shark. I don't think it's a broken Pokemon. I think it's a great Pokemon, but
Yeah.
I just don't think it's broken. I think the way the meta is right now, it just makes Shark look a lot better than what it is. And I think it's spikes, really. I agree. I think it's just the
I
spikes.
definitely think that the meta right now is at its most favorable point for Sharpedo.
I
So I
agree.
feel like that's why we're having the suspect right now.
I agree. I agree. But let us know your thoughts. You can leave them down below. Check out FV. He has a lot of tournament stuff and laddering
Yeah.
and just talks in general. He's a very solid team builder. Like I said, I trust him completely. Like I literally told him the day before both my finals games, I said, "Hey man, whatever you give me, I trust 100%. I'm gonna use it. Just give it to me."
I'm
And
like,
like,
don't you want to test this? And he's like, no.
no, it was more so because I was practicing for VGC. I was like, no,
Yeah.
I trust our builds. I think the coolest part, like just to talk about that, I think the coolest thing was when we said, no, let's not go U-turn on Zatsu. Let's go Toxic, Heat Wave, and Psychic, because that moment just clutched.
Yeah. Heat
But
Wave Zatu is nice.
yeah, anyway, that's a totally different story, and that also has to do with denying spikes, which makes Sharpedo less of a threat. But in any case, we shall see you guys next time. Maybe we'll do a live together at some point. Goodbye, my
Yeah,
friends.
hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about it for a long time. Goodbye, friends.